In a future where Earth is unlivable, humanity's only hope is a paradise planet called Rhea. To reunite with her sister, a young doctor signs up for an 8-year journey aboard a cargo ship. But when a crew member dies mysteriously, she discovers a terrifying secret hidden in the cargo hold that will change everything she thought she knew about her new home. What they find will expose a lie that threatens the future of all mankind. The story begins in the year 2267. Earth's atmosphere has been completely destroyed, resulting in constant acid rain, making the planet uninhabitable. As a result, humanity has relocated to a space station orbiting Earth, which has become severely overcrowded. On the space station, an advertisement placed for a planet called Rhea. Scientists discovered Rhea as a habitable world, dubbing it Earth 2. The wealthy have already relocated and started their lives there. Meanwhile, on the station, we meet a young doctor named Laura. Laura's sister has already moved to Rhea, and Laura desperately wants to join her, but she lacks the necessary funds. To earn the money, she signs an 8-year contract with Cooper Enterprises to serve as the crew doctor aboard their ship, the Cassandra. The Cassandra is an old vessel. On board, Laura first meets First Officer Lacroix. Including Laura, there are only 5 crew members: Captain Lacroix, a technician named Yoshida, and 2 engineers, Prokop and Vespucci. The captain explains that the ship is fully automated and they are headed for Station 4. He also mentions that a terrorist group has been carrying out attacks for several years, which is why the government has assigned a security officer to every ship. Just then, Lind arrives and introduces the security officer, Decker. Decker shows them a news report about a terrorist named Brockner, who has been on the run since his last attack. Brockner was responsible for blowing up Station 24. His ideology is that peace is impossible as long as humanity is governed by technology. Afterwards, the ship departs for Station 4. The journey requires each crew member to take turns serving an 8-month watch. The other members remain in deep cryo-sleep. Everyone on board has been informed that the main cargo bay holds construction materials and is a restricted area, with entry strictly forbidden. The journey commences, and 3 years go by. It's finally Laura's turn to take her 8-month watch. Laura checks all the systems and begins her watch. She spends her time reading books, exercising, and caring for her plants. She also sends video messages to her sister, but the transmission takes many months to reach its destination. Likewise, her sister's replies take months to get back to her. This long delay makes Laura's journey feel isolating. One day, she hears strange noises coming from the main cargo bay. When she goes to investigate, she sees a hand on the other side of the gate. Frightened, Laura runs towards the office to report what she saw. Just then, Decker appears, having awakened from cryo-sleep ahead of schedule. He explains that he woke up automatically because a compartment lock was opened. Decker asks Laura why she opened the gate to the cargo bay when it's off limits. She insists that someone is inside and that the rules require her to wake the captain. They proceed to wake Captain Lacroix and go to inspect the restricted area. The cargo bay is massive. The captain tells Laura that the compartment has been opened multiple times during her watch, which he dismisses as a probable technical issue. The area is filled with numerous containers and is extremely cold. Lacroix goes to check the upper level, while Laura checks the ground floor. Suddenly, the captain falls from above and dies on impact. The main cargo gate begins to close automatically. Seeing this, they grab Lacroix's body and rush out just in time. Following the accident, all crew members are awakened from cryosleep. Lind assumes the position of captain and assigns tasks to everyone. The 2 engineers are ordered to repair and seal the cargo bay's main gate. Yoshida is tasked with checking all entry logs and looking for any suspicious activity. Laura is instructed to perform an autopsy on Lacroix to determine the official cause of death. While doing so, she discovers an artificial implant in his eye. After removing it, she accesses its data and learns that Lacroix had entered a restricted area marked with a biohazard warning. Laura now realizes the ship is transporting something other than construction materials. She shares this information with Decker. The 2 decide to investigate further on their own and use Lacroix's access card to enter the restricted area, where they find numerous containers under refrigeration. They discover human bodies inside these containers. Laura pulls one out and sees that it holds a young girl. They need the engineers to help them move the girl's container out of the restricted area. As they do, the containers suddenly begin to shift and move, trapping Laura before she can escape. Decker manages to help Laura, saving her from falling off the moving container. They bring the container with the girl to the main deck. Lind insists that this is a matter for the shipping company and that they shouldn't get involved. Laura counters, saying she believes someone intentionally triggered the container movement. She argues that the sudden movement could have killed them. Laura voices her suspicion that there is another person on the ship and that this person murdered Lacroix. Lind dismisses her theory, stating that the containers shift automatically to protect themselves from the cold, which is precisely why the cargo bay is off limits. Decker then asks Lind if she already knew that the containers held people. She avoids the question and orders them to return the girl's container. This confirms to Laura and Decker that Lind is hiding something. Laura then argues that, as a doctor, it's her duty to examine the girl. Since Decker agrees with Laura, Lind can't object and allows Laura to do her job. While examining the girl, Laura detects faint brain activity, but the container will take a while to open. She tells Decker that the container is blocking her scanners because it is electronically sealed. Elsewhere, Lind approaches Yoshida and tells her to dig up any information she can find on Decker, whom she suspects is up to something. Meanwhile, Decker and Laura wait for the container to open. Laura asks Decker about Station 4, but he doesn't give her a straight answer. It seems like Decker is hiding something. He then asks Laura why she signed up for the mission. She explains that she's trying to earn enough money to get to Ria, where her sister has been living for the past 7 years. Sensing her vulnerability, Decker kisses her, but Laura gets up and walks away. They've grown fond of each other, but the stressful journey has left Laura feeling very disturbed. Later, as the two engineers are repairing the gate, they hear strange noises. One of them gets scared, but the other tells him to just ignore it and focus on fixing the gate. On the other side of the ship, Laura examines the girl's body and notices a type of internal growth she's never seen before in a human. She can't understand why the girl's body is so different. To find out more, Decker suggests connecting her to an external system. However, the procedure is extremely dangerous and could be fatal for the girl, so Laura refuses. Decker then tells Laura to keep these results between the two of them for now, as this information could create problems. After he leaves, Laura records a video message for her sister on her camera. She tells her about the girl, explaining that she doesn't understand what's happening, but is trying to help her. She ends the message by saying she hopes to see her sister soon to tell her everything in person. A few moments later, Laura gets a reply from her sister, leaving her stunned. Previously, messages took months to send and receive, but this time, the message arrived in a very short time. Laura goes to Decker and tells him about the impossibly fast reply. She also questions how he knows so much about neural access, pointing out that he is only a security officer. Laura now suspects that Decker knows about the people in the containers. He doesn't answer her question, and instead grabs her and kisses her. Elsewhere, Lind assembles the crew and announces that Yoshida has discovered that someone tampered with the cryochamber records. She goes straight to Decker and asks why he didn't report that he was waking up regularly. Decker claims he had to for security purposes. Lind then asks him where he was when Lacroix died. Decker defends himself, saying he was in a different sector of the ship at the time. Lind orders him to be arrested for tampering with electronic records. Decker cleverly disarms Lind, taking her gun and pointing it at her, but Yoshida attacks him from behind, allowing them to arrest him. Lind then orders Laura to return the girl's container to the cargo compartment. Laura refuses, explaining that she has given the girl some medicine and cannot move her now, but Lind is not willing to listen. She orders her to put the container back before the cargo gates are sealed. Afterwards, Laura treats an injury on Decker's head. While she's treating him, Decker reveals that the ship isn't going to Station 4, but is headed towards Ria. Before he can explain further, Prokop and Vespucci take him away to put him back into cryosleep. Laura asks Yoshida if she can verify whether the ship is actually on course for Station 4. Yoshida secretly accesses the ship's data and confirms to Laura that they are not heading to Station 4. She also explains that they cannot alter the ship's coordinates mid-journey, as the destination was pre-programmed before departure. That's when Laura remembers that she just sent a message to Ria. It had arrived in only 20 minutes. This makes it clear that the ship is somewhere close to Ria. Yoshida tells Laura that Lind is the one controlling access to the destination coordinates. Just then, Vespucci shows up and invites them to a party in his room, but Yoshida refuses to go. Laura, however, goes to the party with the two engineers. While they're there, the lights suddenly start to flicker. Prokop says it's just an issue with the radiator and tells them not to worry. A little later, Laura leaves, saying she's going to bring some tea to Yoshida. When Laura arrives at Yoshida's station, she finds her dead body. She has been viciously murdered. Once again, the crew assembles, and they discover that Decker has escaped from his cryopod. Everyone immediately suspects that Decker is the one who killed Yoshida. Lind orders a full search of the ship. Laura goes with Vespucci and Prokop to find Decker. Laura and Vespucci spot an opening below them. Convinced that Decker is hiding there, Vespucci devises a plan to catch him. Laura will go down one corridor while he takes another route, trapping Decker between them. After this, Laura enters the area where she is attacked by an unknown man. Before he can harm her, someone shoots the stranger, killing him instantly. Laura looks around but doesn't see anyone. She then opens a nearby box and finds some photographs inside. The photos are of the man who was just killed. From the pictures, Laura realizes that the stranger was none other than the terrorist Brockner, who was mentioned at the start of the story. Laura also finds a device containing a video that shows Brockner alongside Decker. Here, we learn that Brockner isn't a terrorist. Instead, he had discovered that some parts of Earth are still habitable, where greenhouses have been built to grow plants and protect them from the acid rain. In addition, they are purifying water in underground tanks. Through this video, Brockner reveals that the government is lying when it says Earth is no longer livable. He says that new people are joining their cause every day. From the video, Laura understands that Brockner was not running a terrorist group. Just then, Laura hears someone coming. She closes the door to her hiding spot and sees Vespucci, who tells her that Decker has been captured. Later, Lind interrogates Decker. He reveals that Rhea is not a real planet, but a virtual reality, and that the government has deceived everyone to profit from them. He also explains that life is still possible on Earth, and that he and Brockner were working against the government to prove this truth. Laura asks Decker if he killed Brockner. Decker admits that he did, explaining that Brockner had lost his mind and had murdered both Lacroix and Yoshida, leaving him no choice. Lind orders Decker to be placed in the brig. She then tells Laura that Prokop and Vespucci will help her move the girl's container to the loading bay. She tells her to finish the examination as soon as possible. Laura now understands everything. Decker is telling the truth, and Lind is in league with the government. Laura draws her weapon and points it at Lind, but Lind had already anticipated her move and points her own gun at Laura, proceeding to tie her hands. Lind explains that the colonization of Rhea was a failure from the very beginning because many mistakes were made during the process. An order was given to find a new planet, with the resolution not to repeat the same mistakes that were made on Rhea. But until then, to keep the population alive, they had to be placed into a virtual reality. Laura asks what happens to the people living in this simulation. Lind explains that they don't even know they're not in the real world, but are living in a world created by the company. In reality, all of them are in cryosleep and are being shown everything virtually. We also learn that the people's containers are located at Station 4, which has been presented to them as the planet Rhea. Lind says she plans to kill Laura and Decker before they arrive, so they cannot reveal the truth that Rhea is a lie. On the other side of the ship, the two engineers ask Decker about Rhea, and in the next moment they approach Lind and point their guns at her. It turns out Decker had told them the whole truth about Rhea. Hearing this, Vespucci had decided he would rather live a virtual life than waste away on the ship. For this reason, they side with Decker and Laura. They capture Lind and put her into cryosleep. After this, Laura checks on the young girl. Decker apologizes to Laura for not telling her the truth sooner, assuring her that she can trust him now. He asks if she will help him with his mission. Laura agrees, but only if he helps get her sister out of the simulation and bring her back to Earth. The four of them begin to follow Decker's plan. The plan is to travel to Station 4, where everyone is being kept in cryosleep. Once there, his first move will be to destroy the communication system. This will make everyone inside aware of the truth about Rhea being a virtual reality and prevent any further outside contact. After some time, they arrive at Station 4 according to plan. They only have 30 minutes. After that, the containers on the ship will begin unloading, and the vessel will automatically depart for Earth. Decker puts on a spacesuit before disembarking onto the station. We then see Vespucci and Prokop, who are planning to remove two people from their cargo containers and take their places, allowing the two of them to enter the virtual world of Rhea. On the other side of the ship, Laura sees that the young girl has woken up and she begins to tend to her. Decker proceeds onward and reaches the location where all the people are kept in cryosleep. Meanwhile, Vespucci uses an access card to get into the cargo container, but in doing so, he accidentally corrupts Lynn's container. This triggers a signal, causing Lynn to awaken from her cryosleep. Prokop extends the container unload time by 10 minutes, giving them more time to get inside the containers before Laura and Decker get back. In reality, the two were planning to go to Rhea secretly, without Laura or Decker knowing. We cut back to Decker, who plants a time bomb to destroy the communication system. After that, he begins searching for Laura's sister's container. He finds that her sister has been in the container for so long that her body is decaying. If she is removed now, she won't survive. Meanwhile, Lynn awakens from her cryosleep. Laura also puts on a suit and arrives on Station 4. Decker tells her that he found her sister's container, but her physical condition is very poor. Laura tells Decker that she wants to go into the virtual reality to see her sister one last time. While there, she will also record a final message to everyone, telling them the truth about Rhea. Decker connects Laura to the same virtual reality where her sister resides. As soon as Laura enters, she finds herself surrounded by beautiful trees and plants. She then goes to her sister's house and meets her. Overcome with emotion after being reunited with her sister after so long, she begins to cry. But Laura doesn't have much time, so she says goodbye to her sister and rushes off. She stops in a secluded spot and records a message on her sister's device. In the message, she reveals the truth. Rhea isn't a paradise but a simulation. She also tells them that life is now possible back on Earth, and that the government has deceived them all for financial gain. Laura sends this message to the space station orbiting Earth, where so many people are still living. This becomes the final message ever sent from Rhea. Afterwards, Laura comes out of the virtual reality. Decker tells her to return to the ship by herself, as he has given his own fuel supply to her. Without any fuel, Decker won't be able to make it back to the ship. Laura refuses to leave without him, but Decker tells her to go alone and complete their mission. The young girl they found in the container is the only proof that can expose the government's lies to the public. With no fuel left, Decker drifts off into space. Laura boosts her suit and begins her journey back to the ship. Laura is heartbroken by Decker's death, as she had come to love him. The moment she gets back on the ship, it begins to depart. Right after, Decker's bomb detonates, destroying the entire communications system. Once she's safely inside, Laura realizes she can't find the little girl. Suddenly, Lynn, who is now awakened from cryosleep, attacks her. The two of them fight, and Laura cleverly ejects Lynn from the ship, causing her to float out into space and die. Laura then finds the little girl, and the two of them head for Earth. A few months later, Laura's message finally reaches the space station, and the people on board learn the full reality of their situation.